Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome the founder of ResPublica, Mr. Phillip Blond, and the leader of the Conservative Party, the Right Honourable David Cameron.
Right, thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today for the official launch of our new think tank. And it's with great pleasure and a great honour that David Cameron is going to welcome us officially into the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. And it's great to be at the launch of another think tank in Britain. And actually, I think it's the best attended launch of a think tank that I can recall. But I sometimes get accused of painting a depressing picture of some of the problems we face, talking about the broken political system, the broken society, our broken economy. I would argue that all those descriptions are accurate. If we look at the problems of our politics, the problems of the expenses system, we do have a political system that's badly damaged. When we think of our society and we think of the rates of crime and antisocial behaviour and family breakdown, in so many ways worse outcomes than other countries in Europe, we do have parts of our society badly broken. And I don't think anyone looking at our economy still in recession while other countries have left recession, and with a terrible state of public finances, a 14% or near that budget deficit, I don't think anyone could deny that we have some real fundamental economic problems. So there's never been a more important time for deep and radical thinking about the change we need in our country. And I think it is very welcome that another think tank is setting off on that journey of doing the deep thinking about the change we need in Britain. I've got to know Philip and his work a little bit over the last few years. And while I wouldn't say I agree with everything he has said, or indeed everything he and his think tank are going to say, I think they are making some important contributions to thinking in Britain, and also contributions that Conservatives, I think, can particularly welcome. And I just wanted to mention the approach that I take on some of these issues where I think this new think tank can have a great impact. The first is all the things that Philip and his thinking have been saying about what Conservatives want, which is not just a rich economy, but also a rich society. As I said in the Hugo Young Guardian lecture, how can we, as an active government, actually encourage the bigger society that we want to see? We don't believe in just naively thinking you can roll back the state and society will automatically march forward in its place. Of course not. We need to agitate for and work for the bigger society, the richer society that we want to see. And I think the exciting thing for Conservatives is that we're not just thinking of this in terms of future policy making. This is a direct connection back to our past, where there was a lot more thinking in Conservative circles about what a richer society would mean. So I think that is a piece of work we're very interested in working with you on. A second piece of work is this whole issue of how we on the centre-right work to tackle poverty in the UK. I think one of the great breakthroughs we've been making is thinking of tackling poverty not just in terms of the symptom, which is a shortage of money, obviously, but thinking of the deep causes of poverty. What is it that holds people in deprivation and poverty? How do we get to grips with the drug and alcohol abuse, with the persistent unemployment, with persistently poor performing schools? The causes of poverty and how we tackle those, I know are going to be at the heart of your thinking. They're certainly at the heart of our thinking. I also think you're doing some very interesting work in terms of public service reform. It's quite clear we have to reform our public services and make them work better. But sometimes public service reform can sound a bit like a sort of action checklist from a top-down management consultant. I'm sure there are management consultants in the audience, and some of my best friends are management consultants and all of that. But I think some of the work that Philip's doing, which is recognizing that people in our public services have a vocation, a love of what they do. That's why they went into those public services. How we unlock that vocation, that love, of their job is vitally important, and how we understand and respect the institutions that they work for, and how we bring those institutions to life, and how we encourage new institutions, including social enterprises and voluntary bodies, into the public sector, I know is part of what you will be doing as well. Bringing this all together for me is this idea that if we want to achieve progressive goals in Britain, if we want to tackle poverty, if we want to make equality, opportunity more equal across our country, if we want to green our economy, these progressive goals, I profoundly believe, now need much more conservative means to tackle them. We're not going to tackle poverty simply by going on and looking at wealth redistribution. We have to look at the causes of poverty, which leads you into lots of conservative thinking about institutions and education and families. If we want to green the economy, we're not going to do it just by top-down instructions from government. We need markets to work. We need families to take decisions. I think in all these areas, this mantra of progressive goals and conservative means is a really strong argument for the sort of change that we're arguing for in Britain. And I think that having a new think tank that is going to be addressing some of these issues, helping us with the big changes that we need in our country to tackle the broken politics, the broken society, the broken economy, I think is a great step forward. So I wish you the very best of luck in all the hard work you're going to be doing. I look forward to engaging with you and with your researchers and teams in the future. And I hope that we can crack some of these huge problems facing our country with some fresh and radical thinking that I know you bring, and I'm sure you'll be delivering in your speech this morning. Philip, thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you very much, David, for that warm welcome, and that will spur us on, and our team and all our colleagues and all the people we'll work with in the future. I know that time is pressing and that your diary doesn't permit you to stay with us, but thank you so much for coming, much appreciated, and we have our instructions, we'll carry them out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Well, thank you. Goodness me, I never thought it would begin like this. First of all, a thank you to our sponsors, the Canary Wharf Group, who are working with us on the event tonight, the people we're working with, Nesta, other organisations who will publish shortly, and all of our network of supporters and friends. And you know who you are, and I'm very grateful to you. Okay, what I wanted to do, foolishly and no doubt inappropriately, is talk about what conservatism is, what it means, what its essence might be, and why it matters, and why I, though I do profoundly think of myself as non-partisan, am persuaded by the formation of conservatism that's taking place, why I think the type of thinking that David and George and the rest of the team are doing actually does offer a future that's different. So this is my take on it. What is conservatism? Various derogatory claims are often propagated. Firstly, some claim that it is a mere pragmatism, that it has no ideas, guiding theme, or undergirding foundation, that it is doing what works without direction or belief. Such a vapid managerialism is indeed ubiquitous, as we all know, but its reach does not extend to modern conservatism. Others say the Tories are the party of vested interest, ineluctably. They represent the status quo. They will always defend the rich against the poor, the strong against the weak, the haves against the have-nots. Again, this position or description captures a position, but it is not one occupied by modern conservatism. Others still say that conservatism is best expressed by a pure libertarianism, that extreme individualism, the glorification of self-interest, which was always a misreading of Adam Smith, the hatred of society is what best represents Tory philosophy. That again captures much, but not modern conservatism. Indeed, if one was being objective, it could be argued that utilitarian managerialism, a rabid and sordid defence of the status quo, and a deep